familiar with the Hill wines, but I'll give you a little bit of the background story on the Hill family. They've been making wine for 5 generations, dating back to 1916 when Juan Hill Jimenez, the first one that we're most interested in, founded Bodegas Juan Hill down in Jumilla. Today, the 4th and 5th generation run the winery, but all 35 members of the family are shareholders. Some lend their talents in other ways. They have a sister who's an architect. She's been really crucial in helping them build wineries that are super energy efficient and all of those kinds of things. So it definitely is a family project. So today, when the 4th generation took over in the early 2000s, they just had one winery down in Jumilla, down here in the southern Mediterranean coast. And over the last 20 years or so, they've expanded into a total of 10 different appellations throughout Spain, 11 total wineries. In every region where they have a winery, we own all of our own vineyards, and we focus solely on the native varietals of that region. Mainly trying to purchase old vine vineyards of those native varietals. So today they have about 4,365 acres of vineyards spread throughout Spain. So our first stop is the region of Rueda. It's up here in the northwestern part of Spain. We're in the plateau area here that is the central part of Spain is made up by this plateau that's at about 2,300 feet above sea level. So it's pretty high up and it's surrounded by mountains. So it's got a true continental climate, very hot and dry during the summertime, very, very cold during the winter. So it puts a lot of stress on the vines, but because we're at that high altitude and we've got these great soils, very rocky, you can see here, very sandy soils, we're able to make really refreshing, bright white wines in this region. So the region of Rueda is known for Verdejo. Verdejo is a native grape to Spain. And because of that high altitude, the temperatures will drop at nighttime, 30, 40 degrees from day to night, and cool down the vines, slow the ripening enough, so we're able to maintain the bright, fresh acidity that we see in the final wine. In terms of the soils, these sandy soils, originally this area was part of the Duero River Valley. So this river valley, hundreds of thousands of years ago, was under ice and then melted down into a bigger river that then shrunk down into the river that we have today. The Duero runs from central Spain all the way out through Portugal into the Atlantic in the city of Porto, where it's called the Douro. So as that river valley shrank down, it left in its wake all of these sandy, pebbly, kind of rolled pebble soils, which make it so that we're able to do a couple of things. First, we're able to have old vines that never got attacked by phylloxera because phylloxera cannot survive in sandy soils. So we're able to have vineyards that are over 100 years old, like these ones. They look like tree trunks in reality. Those are probably 120 years old. Really low yields in that area of these small vineyards that are that old, produce very low yields, but very concentrated, rich, complex fruit. The other thing that it does is having that sandy soil allows that any rainfall that comes down percolates right through all that sand into clay, loamy, more compact layers that are below the sand. So that type of soil will hold on to the moisture and allow us to dry farm these vineyards, even though it is a very hot, dry climate during the growing season. So all of that puts extra stress on these vines, and you get this really potent, aromatic kind of burst of flavor and aroma. With the Shaya Verdejo in particular, I think this is a really cool wine because what we do with this is partially age it in French oak barrels. So when I mean partially, we take about 20% of the wine and we ferment it and age it for 3 months in 500 to 600 liter barrels. So think roughly double the size of your typical red barrel. And then the rest of it is in stainless steel, which is more the typical style of Verdejos. But then when it's blended, what you get is you retain all of that characteristic aromatic kind of fruity, refreshing quality that Verdejo is known for, but then it adds some little toasty notes and a little bit more weight. So when you taste it, you'll get that feeling kind of in the middle back of your palate of that little bit of extra weight, more roundness. And I think it makes this Verdejo really fun to pair with foods because it gives you a little bit more versatility. It doesn't disappear immediately. It lingers, it hangs on. And I think that it's a really fun wine for that reason. We paired it today with the gazpacho. I think that gazpacho is something that we eat in Spain a lot during the summertime. It's a really refreshing, bright soup. And maybe, I don't know if Dino has any, I can't hear you, sorry.
Sorry, I was troubleshooting with somebody. I muted myself. Continue.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were talking about.
No.
So with the Verdejo, hopefully the acid level in the Verdejo will play well with the acid level in the gazpacho. Two of the key ingredients of gazpachos are tomatoes and red wine vinegar. I don't have it in front of me, but if it's done in like a typical style, so you'll have some of those acidic notes, hopefully they will play well together and balance each other out really nicely.
I'm not a white wine drinker at all, but I must say this is delicious.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
It really is good.
Fantastic.
Hey, Chef Dino, you want to talk about your gazpacho a little bit?
Yeah, the gazpacho originates from Spain, Seville, Spain, I believe. And really, I just did a very simple one. I try to be as authentic as possible, which is trying to make it like thick, like a thicker version. Because I know most of the time when it's served here in the U.S., it's like fairly thin and almost like a liquefied salsa, it seems like. So I kind of opted a different route and went more of like a bisque without putting cream in there. I just went heavy, went a little heavy on the bell peppers and some body-giving vegetables so it didn't get watery. Very simple, just cucumber, bell pepper, Roma tomatoes. I did put a little bit of sherry vinegar in there for the acidic notes. Yeah. And a little pinch of cumin, a little pinch of coriander, salt and pepper, and that's about it.
Cool.
It's really good.
Yeah, that's pretty authentic. Gazpacho kind of originated as a lot of foods in a lot of cultures kind of as a poor man's dish, when you're in the south of Spain where there's a lot of crops that grow. It's just an easy, fast thing to do with a lot of the fresh products so that it doesn't spoil, or when it's about to spoil, you can use a lot of it and make this soup, but it's served chilled so that it's refreshing during the summer season. So it's definitely a favorite of mine.
Lisa, I have a question.
Sure.
I know that these two fellows are sitting in the lodge. I know I'm here. Where are you now?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
Not in Spain, unfortunately. Not in Spain. Yeah, I'm based in LA. I mostly cover California, but now with Zoom, it allows me to, spend time with a lot more people in a lot more places.
Fantastic.
Yeah. All right, so I'll tell you a little bit about the next wine. We're going to jump over. So we're in Rueda. We're going to jump over to Rioja. This is in the northeastern part of Spain, close to the Bay of Biscay, part of the Atlantic Ocean that comes in the northern part of Spain. Rioja is located along the Ebro River Valley, which is a river that runs from the north, south, and then out through out into the ocean, into the Mediterranean Sea, on the western or on the eastern coast. Sorry. So Rioja is a region that it's the most famous for sure region in Spain for winemaking. It's also one of the oldest regions that has had a quality control, like a structure for the requirements for aging, the yields, the varietals that are authorized, all of those things. It's the first region that really established that framework. So it's one of the oldest in terms of a PDO type of system. So where we're located, Bodegas Rosario Vera is right here. We're in the town of La Guardia, a town in Rioja Alavesa, which is the sub-region. It's the northernmost part of Rioja. La Guardia is where a lot of well-known, very long-term Spanish wineries are located, including Marqués de Riscal with that Frank Gehry designed winery. That's really cool, and you might have seen pictures of. But we're in good company in La Guardia. So one of the cool things about this area is it has a little bit of a microclimate. It is in this river valley, but because of this big mountain range here, not a lot of that maritime climate that would come down south from that northern coast makes it over this mountain range. So actually in this picture, you can see it actually gets kind of stuck along these mountains, but it offers slightly cooler temperatures in this area. And Rioja Alavesa and Rioja Alta, the two northernmost parts of the region of Rioja, are considered the best Tempranillo grapes. They're Tempranillo grapes that have the potential for long time aging. They have structure, lots of acidity, and tannins, the key factors that we need in order to be able to bottle age wines for a long period of time. So this is a relatively new project for the Hill family. We founded this winery in 2017. The 2018 vintage is our second vintage only of this wine. It's 100% Tempranillo, aged for just 10 months in French oak. So if you're familiar with the laws in Rioja about Crianza Reserva, to be a Crianza, you have to have a minimum of 12 months in French oak or French or American oak barrels. And we fall just 2 months short. And you might ask, why would we not just do 2 more months and get the kind of Crianza status and be able to put that on the bottle? Well, the Hill family has decided to opt more for focusing the winemaking on the grape itself and showcasing the fruit rather than abiding by those structured rules. So they've chosen to allow the winemaker to decide when the wine is ready to be bottled. So it's a slightly more modern take on a Rioja than some of the others that you might have tasted. The fruit is definitely powerful and bright, and then you get some of those earthy aromas that we typically associate with Tempranillo, like black pepper, maybe a little bit of leather, bright red fruits, old tannin. Sorry about that. So just a really, really delicious wine. So this is aged, 10 months in French oak, 15 to 60-year-old vines. And then everything here, again, is also dry farmed and hand harvested. The Hill family puts a lot of emphasis on, protecting the vineyards, making sure that they are well balanced within their ecosystem, because these old vines, you want to protect them. You want to make sure they thrive for many years to come. So everything is farmed without any pesticides or herbicides, and everything's done by hand. So I thought this one would be a good one for the paella. I believe it's a mixed meat and seafood paella, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got, the bright fruits that I think will not overpower the seafood, but also got some structure that will really play well with the earthier flavors. If you've added, any chorizo or anything like that into the paella.
So I was just reading that the main grape is the Rioja. Rioja?
Rioja is the name of the region, and the grape is Tempranillo.
And it's Spain's noble grape?
Yeah, it's definitely the grape that is most typical. Like if you were to say, what's the most typical wine that you find in Spain? Tempranillo. It's definitely grown in the most number of regions, and also produces the kinds of wines that probably have the most prestige. That barrel and then bottle age for many, many years.
Do they grow it in the U.S. at all? The Tempranillo grape?
I'm sorry? In the U.S.?
Yeah.
Yes, I have seen some Tempranillos coming out of California, and I believe also in the Guadalupe Valley in Mexico. I have not tasted a lot of them. I think a lot of the quality level will have to do with the age of the vines. In order for California or Mexico to be competing on the same level as Spain, probably, a decade or more is going to need to pass, so they can really be producing wines, with 50 to 100-year-old Tempranillo vines. But we have similar
50 years from now, I should try it.
maybe like 5 or 10. They started a while ago.
Okay.
I'm sure there's some good ones now too. But yeah, it's we have a similar climate in California, and probably that Guadalupe Valley area where Spain, It's warm and dry during the summer. No rainfall really falls during the growing season. So those types of similarities allow for these types of varietals to thrive here as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they evolve, how they're different, and how they're similar.
Chef Dino, you want to tell us about this amazing creation?
Yeah, so the paella, it's kind of a little bit different. I put chicken in there, chicken, shrimp, and I did use chorizo.
Okay.
And then there's the main thing with the chorizo is just like you have your Spanish version, and then you have your Mexican version of chorizo. The Mexican version is more like a ground sausage, with like peppery flavor. And the Spanish chorizo is more like a chopped type of sausage, and it's cured, and it's actually cured, so you can eat it like raw. It's not raw, but it's cured. And also it's more of a smoked paprika redness to it than a pepper flavor. So that's kind of the difference there. It had a little bit of a light spice when I tried it, so hopefully it does balance well with the wine there. And then the rice, I did a little saffron in there. Well, a lot of saffron. That's one of the key ingredients in paella is saffron. Yeah, so the really good yellow saffron rice in there, and some fresh heirloom cherry tomatoes to kind of have the acidity note. Hopefully balance well. I liked it when I ate it, but everyone has different palates. So
I
looks
think
like Doug's enjoying his.
It sounds like it would be a great pair. I think that because this wine has a lot of fruit to it, it won't be too aggressive of a red for a lighter rice dish like this. Whereas like if you get into a really like big, bold, maybe like a Monastrell that we do, you might want to go more the meat direction with this. It would kind of overpower the shrimp perhaps. But I think it's probably a nice pair.
So Dino, you didn't send this down to Lisa so she could have some too.
Not in LA. I don't know if it'd still be good.
I'll have to come up and visit the next time.
Okay, it might be fermented like the wine.
It's good, Dino.
Thank you.
And the wine is perfect with it.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
And you can't have any, Judy.
I'm having leftover meatloaf.
Well, that'll probably be good too with this wine.
Yes, right.
It is.
Tempranillo is pretty versatile.
I like fish, but I'm not crazy about fish in things or seafood in things. So that's why I didn't choose to do this.
So she would love this if you didn't put the shrimp in it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said.
You'll have to do a meat paella for her next time.
Uh-huh.
So have you hired anybody yet?
Who are you talking to, Dino? Doug?
Doug, whatever.
Yeah, we're always hiring.
Good.
We got a new lead server. We got a couple new server assistants.
Good.
We got a new guy, Manny, in the back of the house too. That's really good.
I said, Bill, get a job. Go down and apply.
Yeah, right. Are you getting that feedback noise, or is it just me?
I hear it too.
Yeah, I hear it too.
It's from Spain. So do you get to go back to Spain often, or not?
So I was living in Spain for a long time. I've been back in California for 5 years now. And I was going once a year. I haven't gone in a while because of COVID.
Yeah.
Hopefully next year, we'll be going. I miss it.
I'll bet.
You know, when you said gazpacho, you said gazpacho. Do you not enunciate the Z as much?
Yes. So in Castilian Spanish, we have an accent where the Z's and the C's are pronounced like THs. So we say gazpacho.
Okay, actually, I remember that from high school, from Spanish class.
Oh.
Now that when you said that, the TH,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's just the accent that we have there, but
Well, it looks like we have one member joining us via phone, I believe. So hopefully they're at least soaking up some of the knowledge and the stories. When I was muted and talking to the concierge, they were telling me that somebody wasn't able to see us. So I don't know if that's just from only calling in and not using a computer, but that would mean we're still missing one person. So I'm sure they enjoyed the food and the wine. So
I'm sure.
hopefully.
So they picked up their food and wine, but just to do this, huh?
well, I know Jim Roach was saying he was going to have to leave at like 5:45 because he was meeting somebody down here again for dinner, but they weren't eating, but that they were going to come down and meet them. And so, shall see. Well, I'm kind of interested once, I guess, Bill gets ready to go to dessert, how this Verdejo tastes with Tres Leches.
Yeah.
Yum, Tres Leches cake is delicious.
It's not.
You were talking accents before. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Lisa, you were talking about accents before. And my mom was born in Guatemala.
I was talking about, I'm sorry?
Accents.
Oh,
Okay. And my mother
Yeah.
was born in Guatemala. And when I was growing up, whenever she met someone who spoke Spanish, as soon as they said 3 words, she knew where they came from because of their accent.
yeah.
It's interesting. It's just like in the U.S., you can tell somebody's from Boston or they're from Alabama or whatever. But
Exactly.
it's the same thing in the language of Spanish.
Exactly. Yeah, people always ask me, like, how come? It's like it's the same, like the way that the accents developed, like in England versus Australia versus different parts of the United States. And I'm sure there's lots of accents within England and Australia that I don't even have my ear attuned to. But yeah, it's interesting how language evolves and develops over long periods of time.
One of the funniest things that I experienced, I was taking students down to Costa Rica often for a Spanish language program.
Okay.
And I was a student there myself. And it was worldwide. They got in students from everywhere. And there was a couple from France who was there to learn Spanish.
Mhm.
But they spoke Spanish with a French accent. And that was really different.
Yeah.
It was different.
Yeah, that's always tricky too. So when I moved to Spain originally, so after I finished college, so I grew up here in LA, but my father's from Spain. So I spent a lot of time there because my dad's whole family is still in Spain. And so after I finished college, I moved there to do a program in translation, and it was people from all over the world. And that was also kind of, you get a kick out of hearing everybody's accents. Like you had Americans, you had Puerto Ricans, you had French, German. There were even a couple of people who had come from China. We had a girl from Poland. So you hear lots of different versions of accents, which is kind of fun.
Good food, Dino.
It's really
Thank
good.
you. I do want to say that the tres leches, though, is more of a Latin America thing, but I wanted to go ahead and do it anyway.
Yeah, it's pretty good. That's one of my favorite desserts. I love
Mine
tres
too.
leches. So good.
Yeah, get it. Get the dessert. I'll save the dinner for tomorrow. Again. Now, which wine do you think would go best with tres leches?
Out of the two, I'm going to say the Verdejo.
Probably the Verdejo.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, hopefully the Verdejo has enough, like the acidity is just round enough that hopefully the sweetness of the dessert won't make the wine taste sour. I mean, it will be a moment of seeing how it is, but it could potentially work there. And even though tres leches, sorry, is it good?
Yeah.
I was going to say, even though tres leches cake isn't necessarily a Spanish dessert, there's a lot of similarities with like those types of desserts and flavors with Spanish desserts. Like there's a lot of cream and custard based desserts in Spain. Lots of use of like cinnamon. And so, even though it's not specifically Spanish, it's still something that you could find something similar to in Spain.
It works pretty good.
Works all right with the wine?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I feel so bad. We're sitting here all eating and drinking, and you're not, Lisa.
That's okay.
Venus, you're not eating or drinking either.
I am a little envious though.
Well, you'll just have to come up and visit us here, and Dina will cook you a special meal.
I would love that.
That's right.
And Doug would give you a special wine.
We'll do one of these tastings in person sometime.
Yes.
That'd
That'd be great. We're finally able to get back to start doing that lately. So next month is going to be our first wine dinner in person. So
Oh, good.
When is that?
14, 15 months. So
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Where are you all at in terms of reopening?
we're able.
Indoor?
We can do indoor at 50% capacity, and then outdoor 100% capacity. And the word is after June 30th, we're supposed to be able to go to 100%. So
Wow.
Exciting.
we shall see.
So when will you be open
Sounds-
for lunches?
Probably after we go to 100%, and we'll probably start with Saturdays and Sundays first, and then we'll probably do brunch on Sundays after that, and then probably the last shoe to fall would probably be lunches during the weekdays.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see as people get confident to go back to daily, eating out more frequently.
Yeah.
How is it down in LA?
Similar. We're expecting June 15th is the date that we're expecting to go to 100% on everything. So now indoor is, I think it's 50%, and then outdoor is 100%. They're starting to open things like, movie theaters, stadiums, all that stuff. So, June 15th is like 3-4 weeks away.
People still wearing their masks?
Yeah. When I go outside, like to take a walk or whatever, people are generally, it's kind of like half and half. So definitely less than before. But still, like for the supermarket and things, even though they've said if you're vaccinated, you don't have to. I haven't seen anyone opting to not wear it. Like I was just at the supermarket and I saw everyone wearing masks.
That's about the same here.
Yeah.
Same thing. People are a little reluctant yet to get rid of their masks. So I
Yeah.
don't understand other states and I don't get it, but.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, it's after so long, it's like wearing a mask just doesn't even faze me anymore. So I'd rather just like, if I'm going to be with my friends, I'll take it off. But if I'm going to be with strangers in an enclosed space where there's like a lot of people, it's just not such a big deal to wear it. So.
Yeah.
And a lot of stores around here still require it.
Yeah. Here too, I've seen like the signs on the doors. A lot of places are still requiring it. Yeah.
This Tres Leches is pretty darn good.
Thanks, sir. Thank you. Like I said, it definitely doesn't originate from Spain, but it just sounded really good. It's kind of leftover from when we were doing the Cinco de Mayo menus, and I was trying to cram all the Cinco de Mayo stuff on there, and I was like, oh, we didn't get a chance to do the cake, so I wanted to do it for this one.
Well, Judy's just finishing the last bite of it, so.
Thank you.
I think I was telling Bill, or not Bill, I was telling somebody today when they picked up that we had a few people drop out last week, and a lot of members have been talking to me this week about having virtual fatigue. Sick of doing wine dinners and wine tastings online, and they're just itching to get back out and do it in person. So we kind of, we primarily service a 55 and older community. And so it's been kind of, from both ends of the spectrum, whereas in the beginning of COVID, I would say, people were a little more leery than average people of coming down, just, being the demographic that our members are in. But now where we're at right now is I'd say probably 95% of our members are fully vaccinated. So now they're like, let's party. We're ready to go, So we kind of went from one end to the other.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I'm glad that things are going well and that you're going to be able to start doing these things together. I'm sure at this point you all know each other and want to see each other in person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I don't know, when this community, the over 55 part of it is done, I think there's going to be 850 homes or something like that. So it's not huge, but it's a good size. And I think, at least my experience is there's 3 reasons why folks have moved here to this community. One, they want to downsize because they were in a bigger house and they didn't want to take care of the yard. Two, they wanted to be in a community where they could socialize with people and create that kind of atmosphere where you get to know folks and everything. And the third reason was because they wanted to be near their kids and grandkids. So that's about and I think this community does all of those 3 things for a lot of people.
I feel badly because when we first moved in, we didn't have COVID, so we got to meet so many people, and that, Doug, and I mean, everybody was down at the lodge, and the people that have moved into the upper
Shuxton and all those places,
and COVID hit, and they don't know anybody, and I just feel so badly for them because they haven't been able to socialize.
Yeah.
Right. We've got plenty of people that have never been to the club before, so.
Right. So I'm hoping that that'll change once we.
I'm sure it will.
And we even have
next month you'll have a blockbuster month with the dinner. Everyone will be so excited. That's great.
And we have plenty of employees that weren't here pre-COVID too. So I remember on New Year's Eve when we just did this, like takeout dinner for New Year's Eve, and then we made like a little party pack with party favors and champagne and and sent a whole package home for New Year's Eve, and then we all got on a video chat like this and kind of did a New Year's Eve toast. there was a couple employees that had started during COVID, and they were like, "Oh, this is really cool that we're able to do this." And I was like, "You should be here pre-COVID on New Year's Eve. There's 300 people in this club. You know, there's different bars everywhere. There's different food stations everywhere."
And yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
It'll
So-
get back to that.
hopefully. So
Sounds like a great place to live.
We live in a cul-de-sac, Lisa, and it's like everybody. I don't know. There's 17 homes, 16 in the cul-de-sac, and it's like an extended family. In the whole cul-de-sac.
Wow.
In fact, we started what people call Pour at Four, and it started here at our house.
It's for
actually.
women only, and
Right.
it's on Thursdays, and they get together and they drink wine.
Right. You bring whatever you want to drink, and you come. And we used to change houses. We go around the cul-de-sac every week. It would be held at somebody else's house. And Thursday was like a coveted day. You didn't plan anything on a Thursday. You had to go to work. And that has spread to other communities. Well, because of that we got together every Thursday for years. We have been like a family, and we do things together. And I mean, it's such a close-knit little community. People call us, well, we're in Kings Court, and you probably, Doug, I don't know whether you've heard of Kings Court, but we you know, when the garbage man comes, somebody's out putting everybody's garbage cans back. And if you go to Costco, it used to be before Costco's here, they'd send out a message, anybody need anything from Costco? And we'd all pick it up from whoever. You know, I mean, it's just.
So we sit back. We don't have to turn it. You know, take out our garbage cans or bring them in. We don't have to go to Costco. We let everybody else do it.
No.
You just host wine night that week. Well, that's lovely. You know, it's so hard to meet people in your communities. Like it's really hard to get to know your neighbors, especially when you move somewhere new. And that's really lovely. Like that's so unique and special.
I mean, people house sit for them, you know, dog sit. They take in each other's pets. And
it's like they're looking out for you.
And the lodge is really Doug and Dino and the other staff is there. I mean, they really understand what this community is all about, and I think they are. I don't know. They're fun to be with and fun to work with. So, thanks, Doug. Thanks, Dino.
Yeah.
Now you owe me.
thank you.
Thank you.
You gotta tell our bosses that.
I do. But you know,
I'm just
there's hardly any of the folks that are here now. Hardly any of them were here when we moved in 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Not
I
very many.
wasn't.
No. Dino wasn't.
No, I've been about 4 years. Actually, 4 years probably this week, the 15th, the 17th, something like that.
Right.
And Dino came a little bit after me. So
Yeah. I think I'm 3 years. I'm a year behind you, Doug.
Well, you can't leave, you know.
I'm not planning on it.
Good.
Unless you know something I don't know.
Nope.
there was a rumor a few years ago. Everybody, like for a month or two, everybody kept asking me, I heard Chef Dino's leaving at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that. That's news to me.
We can start it again.
No.
I'll just whisper in somebody's ears. Did you hear Chef Dino's leaving?
No. But I
See how fast it takes to get back to you.
And pretty soon it'll be. Did you hear Chef Dino's gone?
He left last week.
I don't want to think about that.
I think Jason is about the only one that's still here from when we first started. I don't remember. Yeah. So anyway.
Oh, well.
Todd and Jason were here since the club opened. That's
the only two, I think.
our fifth trainer. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Before that, I think was Tia. So lots of Tia, the server, Tia.
Oh yeah, we loved her. She was our favorite server.
She's not here anymore, is she?
No, she manages a hotel nearby, and she would just work a couple days a week here. But through COVID, she's really had to kind of work a lot more to cover the shortness in staff. So, no, she's not with us.
Well, if she ever comes
So.
back, let us know, because she was our favorite server. She was so cute.
She's welcome to come back. She's welcome to come back for sure.
Oh my gosh. What did she say? She was so funny. Oh, the first time we met her, I'll have to remember and tell you at another time, Doug, but I mean, the first time we met her, she cracked a joke that my whole family was there, and she was so cute.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, anyway.
Well, you can hear her laughing from a mile away. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, anyway.
well, we'll stay on here, but I just want to thank Lisa for joining us. I'm sorry we didn't have a bigger crowd for you today because the wine was fantastic. The food is fantastic as always. So thank you for those that did join us, and we definitely look forward to doing more of these in the future in person, and serving
And
more
happy
Juan
Lisa.
Hill wine, even though I mispronounced it in the beginning. I'm sorry, Lisa.
That's okay.
And then we're going to invite Lisa up here in person.
Yes.
If
I
she's,
love that.
we'll have her if she's willing to come. Yeah, I believe when we did the tasting, when we did the wine tasting, Alex from Elliott Bay came down to speak to the wine that day. So, yep.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all so much. It was a pleasure to meet you all and spend a little time talking about wines.
Well,
And
thank
And
you.
I'm gonna
Of course.
make sure-
Thank you so much. Have
and
a
I'm gonna
wonderful
start
night.
drinking this
Thank you.
white wine now. That's
Enjoy and have a wonderful trip to Spain. I hope that you like
thank
it.
you so much, and thanks for your ideas about where to go.
Absolutely. Anytime. All right. Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Have a
Bye.
great night, everybody.